It's not just about the friendship. I mean, these guys were friends before they played together. They were friends after they played together. The fact that LeBron has now cost D. Wade roughly $25 million in his career doesn't seem to have affected the friendship. But let's talk about this from a basketball perspective. Can Dwyane Wade help the Cavs? So I watched, I think, every game the Cavs played last year. And what was very obvious to everyone was when LeBron left the court, they were awful. When he was on the court, they were awesome. When he was on the court, playoffs and regular season, they're outscoring teams by 9 points. When he's off the court, they are being outscored by 9 points. That's an 18-point swing. But it's a little more complex than that because people are going to say, okay, so what can Dwyane Wade do? Some of it was just poor strategy. LeBron leaves the court in the final 90 seconds of the first quarter, and the team, for some reason, is playing at a fast pace while he's off the court, as opposed to slowing it down, limit the amount of possessions the other team's going to have while our best player's on the bench. Dwyane Wade's not going to let him do that. The fact that they seem to panic at times in the finals against the Warriors early on when the Warriors hit them with that opening haymaker. Dwyane Wade's going to have more of a calming presence, certainly more of a calming presence than my guy JR. JR is a guy that is such an emotional player. He can ride a wave in a good direction or a bad direction.
Yeah, he's a very streaky player.
Right. None of this is going to come as something new to Dwyane Wade. So if he can just be a deep breath for the team when LeBron's getting some minutes, that in and of itself makes them better.
In sports, you want to try to be as comfortable as possible. That being in football, baseball, any of the major sports. Surroundings are critical. We see a lot of the one-and-done players drafted into the NBA after 1 year of college. One of the things that they do is their parents or someone significant in their family typically moves to that city so that they have some familiar faces as they get acclimated to this new life. When we were trying to develop this show, regardless of some of the rumors that it might have been offered to other people, Nick, when we met, I've met your family, and you would say that I'm one of your best friends.
Yes.
So the ability for you to be on TV with someone who you know gives you a comfort level
100%.
that it's not going to equate to a number, but you're allowed to function because you don't have the anxiety because there's a familiar face.
He still has anxiety, though.
Sure, but Cece, and on that, to further that analogy, I do think it makes other people around that do not have the relationship you and I have more comfortable. And
Yes.
I think people see Wade and LeBron, and it makes Isaiah's new, but it makes him more comfortable. Like they have that relationship.
This relationship, in my opinion, wouldn't work if Dwyane Wade had even this much of an ego, right? He took a pay cut to come here. He knows his minutes. Several, but
Yes.
let's just talk about this particular
Yes.
one. A big pay cut.
Yes.
And he knows it. His minutes are going to be limited, and he knows that. And you already said that he acknowledges that he's probably going to be a deep breath for this team to come in and keep everything pretty level-headed while either LeBron sits or when the team needs someone to come in and say, guys, let's just manage, as opposed to trying to do anything big. Let's just manage. That's super important. That's more important than just we're signing LeBron's best friend. That could be the difference to this team.
And we also saw last year when LeBron rested, guys took it upon themselves. This is my moment to show the world. If it's Darren Williams, I still got it.
Yes.
If it's Kyrie Irving, it's that I can run things on my own.
Without LeBron.
And they failed.
Yeah.
They, in those moments, the data shows they failed when LeBron was on the bench. And I'm not trying to make it sound as if Wade's only going to play when LeBron's on the bench, but I think he will particularly play in those spots. And just think back to the 2015 finals. The finals when Kyrie was injured, Kevin Love was injured. Because people are like, Wade is not the all-NBA guy he once was. Fine.
Yes.
But what if Wade was getting Matthew Dellavedova's minutes? What if, because that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about Dwyane Wade replacing an all-NBA shooting guard. It's Dwyane Wade bumps JR down the depth chart, which means Shumpert's bumped down the depth chart, which means Darren Williams, who isn't on the team anymore, is off the depth chart. And all of a sudden, you're not playing 4 minutes where a guy who shouldn't be on the court. Like that, it's the butterfly effect of the whole thing as far as adding productive minutes throughout the 48 minutes of the game.
And let's not forget what LeBron said. LeBron said, also, I mean, he's my best friend, but I don't want to play against him. Like Dwyane Wade makes, let's take all 4 teams in the West. Let's just create a hypothetical. OKC, he would help them. Golden State, he would help them. San Antonio, he would help them. Houston, he would help them. Good players help any team. So that's what this is about. He's a good player. He's got championship DNA. So adding that to what they're already doing, it's like adding a familiar face that you're going to have a bunch of storms, and LeBron is comfortable that D. Wade can help him battle those storms because we know in the NFL, it's rocky. I mean, in the NBA, it's very, very rocky. But LeBron and D. Wade have been through the toughest times of LeBron's career together.
Yeah.
Right.
And after what LeBron just went through with this whole ridiculously melodramatic Kyrie stuff,
The kid.
it's nice for LeBron to play with someone he likes, he respects,
An adult.
he knows isn't going to undercut him in any way. He knows is his actual friend. There's a level of confidence there, and there's a level of trust there.
And we know that come late January, early February, every year, LeBron gets a little in his feelings, goes a little passive-aggressive, and can rub some teammates the wrong way. Long season, year 15, 7 straight NBA Finals for LeBron. If there's anyone that can quell that storm a bit, D. Wade being like, hey, because hard to be able to talk to LeBron on an even playing field.
Yes.
Even the coaches can't do that. D. Wade can. Now I'm going to go real basketball nerdy just for a moment because I already know the analytics folks watching are saying, but what about the three-point shooting? We know LeBron is at his best with floor spacers. D. Wade has never been known as a three-point shooter. That is true. However, D. Wade is coming off the best year of his career as a three-point shooter. Going into last season, his whole career, the 13 years leading into last season, 28% on 1.5 threes a game. Last year, 31% on 2.5 threes a game. If he ups that just 3 percentage points to 34%, then you're a competent three-point shooter. And what we do know is guys tend to shoot better when LeBron James is the one passing them the ball because he gets it in the exact right spot, and LeBron James is the one commanding the double team and all the defense's attention. So Dwyane Wade, if he can just be a competent three-point shooter, that adds to his value there.
One thing as a veteran player, as you get older, and it's nice to be able to mentor players. It's nice the relationship LeBron had with Kyrie. It's nice, Nick, that you and I have the relationship. But the reason why we hired Jenna, it wasn't just because she's a professional.
Please tell me.
It wasn't just because she looks great.
I'm listening.
It wasn't because she wears great clothes.
Right here.
It's because I need some adult conversation.
Thank you.
You know, Nick, you're a lot younger than us.
Right.
And LeBron and his wife, D. Wade and his wife, they're very close. All the time you spend on the NBA, it's a lot of lonely time, especially as an older guy with a bunch of young. Now, the Cavs, they do have an older roster, but you need adult conversation. You need sometime. I need to be able to leave your office, go to Jenna's office to be able to have some adult conversation.
So don't go to another show and talk about how CC and I exploited your tactics. Okay, that's not what we want.
And it's not just because people are going to say, oh, the age, they are an older roster. It's not just the years. It's married, kids, family men, as opposed to some younger guys that are still, you know what I mean, enjoying the NBA lifestyle.
You may find this hard to believe. We are going to discuss this again today.
Yes. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from some of our other great shows on FS1.